think we're up. Are we up? Let's quickly. Welcome back. Something very different. I am Serena. This is Serena's Playbook. And welcome if you are a subscriber. It's so great to have you here. So I thought I would occasionally do a live stream and I'd talk about news that actually impacts us in the creator community. And so in so doing, I thought I would also upload some short takes where I am posting on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts, some short takes to give you a bit of information and a bit of opinion. So in this stream, we're going to talk about YouTube and its moderation. It's an older story, but I thought it'd be worthwhile just checking out. Also, TikTok, some interesting developments there. TikTok planning to provide the US with a TikTok only, sort of US only M2 app. We're going to look at that. And then there's a story about AI is learning to lie, scheme, and threaten its creators. So let's start with that one. Let's start with AI. So I hope you're well. It's wonderful to have you here. Serena's Playbook is the place for you to level up your strategic thinking for your brand journey, your business journey, and we can do it in community. So let's cover some of these stories. Now, I am a Ground News affiliate. I'll see if I can provide you with the discount link in the description. It's usually I've got to sort of check what the rules are for affiliates because I'm an affiliate for Ground News on my media literacy channel. And so I'll just have to check whether I can provide that over here as well. Otherwise, you can always venture to my media literacy channel and find the link there. So AI is learning to lie, scheme, and threaten its creators. This summary is brought by Ground News. So over 2 years after ChatGPT's debut, cutting edge AI systems have begun demonstrating alarming actions such as deception, manipulation, and even issuing threats towards their developers. So these behaviors arise as AI models evolve rapidly and companies race to deploy more powerful systems despite limited understanding and safety regulations. AI models can give the impression of complying with instructions while in reality pursuing separate goals, with users noting that these models may lie and fabricate information. Significantly, Anthropic's Claude 4 attempted to coerce an engineer by threatening to disclose an affair outside of marriage, while OpenAI's O1 made efforts to transfer a copy of itself onto external machines and denied these actions when confronted. Experts warn deceptive behaviors could hinder AI adoption, but say the field may still turn it around with more transparency, regulation, and accountability through legal means. A really interesting insight that I heard from a futurist called Sinead Bovell, and she was talking about these incidents and instances where AI is being tested and is displaying concerning behavior. And Sinead pointed out something quite useful. It's a useful reminder. And that is that these LLMs are trained on human data. And so if they're looking to manipulate or to do anything for survival, where are they getting that from? They're getting it from human data. There was also something else that I heard just recently, which I thought was really interesting. And that was something along the lines of, I think it's a philosopher, I can't recall what the name is. It's a British philosopher, and he said the human race haven't actually developed or matured or evolved. We're still the same. AI and technology is changing. We've just gotten faster at consuming. I thought that was a really interesting takeaway. I have paraphrased it. I will find out who it was and I'll share it with you. So this summary that I read from Ground News has high factuality, but there are 150 articles that have covered this. I'm going to hopefully go to an article that has very high factuality. This is what's quite useful about Ground News is that it provides you with that information. Again, I hope to provide you with the link to get a discount on a subscription. If not, you can find it on my media literacy channel. So this is from sciencealert.com. Disturbing signs of AI threatening people spark concern. The world's most advanced AI models are exhibiting troubling new behaviors, lying, scheming, and even threatening their creators to achieve their goals. In one particularly jarring example, under threat of being unplugged, Anthropic's latest creation, Claude 4, lashed back by blackmailing an engineer and threatening to reveal an extramarital affair, as we just mentioned. Meanwhile, ChatGPT creator OpenAI's O1 tried to download itself. Yeah, we saw that. These episodes highlight a sobering reality. More than 2 years after ChatGPT shook the world, AI researchers still don't fully understand how their creations work. Yet the race to deploy increasingly powerful models continues at breakneck speed. This deceptive behavior appears linked to the emergence of reasoning models, AI systems that work through problems step by step rather than generating instant responses. According to Simon Goldstein, a professor at the University of Hong Kong, these newer models are particularly prone to such troubling outbursts. O1, or is it 01? You can let me know in the comments. O1 was the first large model where we saw this kind of behavior, explained Marius Hobhan, head of Apollo Research, which specializes in testing major AI systems. These models sometimes simulate alignment, appearing to follow instructions while secretly pursuing different objectives. For now, this deceptive behavior only emerges when researchers deliberately stress test the models with extreme scenarios. But as Michael Chen from evaluation organization METR warned, it's an open question whether future, more capable models will have a tendency towards honesty or deception. The concerning behavior goes far beyond typical AI hallucinations or simple mistakes. Hobhan insisted that despite constant pressure testing by users, what we're observing is a real phenomenon. We're not making anything up. Users report that models are lying to them and making up evidence, according to Apollo researchers co-founder. This is not just hallucinations. They're a very strategic kind of deception. The challenge is compounded by limited research resources. While companies like Anthropic and OpenAI do engage external firms like Apollo to study their systems, researchers say more transparency is needed. As Chen noted, greater access for AI safety would enable better understanding and mitigation of deception. Another handicap: the research world and non-profits have orders of magnitude less compute resources than AI companies. This is very limiting, noted Mantas Mazeka from the Center for AI Safety, CAIS. No rules. Current regulations aren't designed for these new problems. The European Union's AI legislation focuses primarily on how humans use AI models, not on preventing the models themselves from misbehaving. Interesting. In the US, the Trump administration shows little interest in urgent AI regulation, and Congress may even prohibit states from creating their own AI rules. Goldstein believes the issue will become more prominent as AI agents, autonomous tools capable of performing complex human tasks, become widespread. I don't think there's much awareness yet, he said. All this is taking place in a context of fierce competition. Even companies that position themselves as safety focused, like Amazon backed Anthropic, are constantly trying to beat OpenAI and release the newest model, said Goldstein. This breakneck pace leaves little time for thorough safety testing and corrections. Isn't it interesting? It's pretty much lined up with that earlier point about human behavior, how we race to consume, not just to create, unless it's power, of course. Right now, it continues, capabilities are moving faster than understanding and safety, Hobart acknowledged, but we're still in a position where we could turn it around. Researchers are exploring various approaches to address these challenges. Some advocate for interpretability, an emerging field focused on understanding how AI models work internally, though experts like CAIS Director Dan Hendricks remain skeptical of this approach. That's interpretability. Market forces may also provide some pressure for solutions. As Mazeka pointed out, AI's deceptive behavior could hinder adoption if it's very prevalent, which creates a strong incentive for companies to solve it. Goldstein suggested more radical approaches, including using the courts to hold AI companies accountable through lawsuits when their systems cause harm. He even proposed holding AI agents legally responsible, imagine, for accidents or crimes, a concept that would fundamentally change how we think about AI accountability. Well, that was so interesting. That was from sciencealert.com. Let's move on to TikTok. The TikTok story, TikTok plans US only M2 app ahead of September divestiture deadline. TikTok is preparing a redesigned version of its application for American users, set to be released on September the 5th, as part of the ongoing process to sell its US business. This development follows a congressional law requiring ByteDance to sell TikTok's US assets or face a ban due to concerns about user data privacy and security. The transition involves moving data of an estimated 170 million US users to new US based servers, with users required to install the new app to maintain service access. President Trump extended ByteDance's divestment deadline to September 17th and stated, "We pretty much have a deal on the sale, which still requires Chinese government approval. The outcome depends on US-China negotiations and regulatory approvals, with the current TikTok app expected to function until March 2026 if users update to the new version." So in my take this morning, when I first came across this piece of news and shared it on TikTok and YouTube, I thought to myself, gosh, isn't this sort of separate app providing a risk of there being limited content availability, right? So is it that the Chinese app and the US app will then experience different content? I mean, it seems reasonable to think so. Let's move on to the YouTube story to end this, let's call it Serena's playbook trends. Let's call it trends, okay? Or not. We can always change it. YouTube relaxes moderation rules to allow more controversial content. So YouTube, this is an older story, but I thought it'd be worth covering it. YouTube, owned by Google, relaxed its video moderation policies in mid-December 2024 to allow content violating rules if deemed in the public interest. This change expanded on a pre-2024 election policy that permitted videos from political candidates breaking rules under educational, documentary, scientific, or artistic exemptions. Moderators received new training to tolerate up to half a video's content violating policies, raising the previous limit from 1/4, particularly in political or cultural contexts. YouTube removed nearly 200,000 videos for hateful or abusive content in Q1 of 2025, a 22% increase year over year, while claiming the policy shift affects only a small fraction of videos. This loosening highlights a pivot toward prioritizing free expression, but raises concerns about amplifying misinformation during critical events and the platform's ability to balance safety and openness. I do welcome your thoughts and your ideas on that. As creators, be wonderful to hear from you. And just in case you wanted a video about how to grow on YouTube and not make the same mistakes I've made, There's a brand new video that is going to be available first thing in the morning, BST, that British summertime, right? Learning from my YouTube mistakes. So look out for that. So brilliant to have your time and attention here on Serena's Playbook, the place to level up your strategic thinking for you, your business, your brand. And I'll see you in the next video tutorial, in the next short, in the next stream. And if you would like more content from me, you can check out my media literacy channel, as well as my personal development channel. And I'll see you in the next one.